Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1, or shall I say Stop and Go F2. Welcome back, everybody. It is the British Grand Prix weekend. It's time to talk Formula 2 in a weekend, I think, of two halves. Well, I'm not even sure if it's that really. I don't know if, with that feature race we just had, I didn't get anything from it. It didn't excite me. I thought it was pretty meh. But I don't know if that's because the Formula 3 feature race before it was so exceptional that nothing could possibly follow it. Or maybe the race was just a little bit meh. We'll get into all of it, including the sprint race as well. Make sure you like and subscribe, of course, and thank you to our members, Dakota and the Joyous James. Link in the description if you want to become a member. And if you missed our recap of that Formula 3 race, that is available on the channel. Highly recommend you watch that because the Formula 3 was incredible. Let's get into the Formula 2 though, starting with yesterday's sprint. So Kimi Antonelli is on pole position, Zane Maloney alongside him. It is a wet race which requires a rolling start, and I'll say the thing I always say about the rolling starts, I don't like them, but the reason for why I don't like them is the reason that they do them, because a standing start will probably lead more to drama and potential danger than a rolling start does. A rolling start is far more safe, which is why they do it during a wet race. That's why I don't like it, but I understand it. I understand why they do it for a safety reason, but of course, I always want a bit of the drama. Don't want anyone to get hurt, just a bit of the drama. Anyway, it's a good start from Antonelli, and Bortoleto under a lot of pressure from Ollie Bearman at the start, and Bortoleto comes across and hits Ollie Bearman's front wing, and he gets damage from there. Further down the lap, Bortoleto tries around the outside of Crawford of P4 but can't get it. Bearman losing a lot of positions now due to the damage. Of course, having a damaged front wing will lead to a lack of downforce, and at a wet track, what you need more than anything is downforce, and he didn't have it. So he's now down to P9 after starting P6. We get a great wheel-to-wheel battle here between Aaron and Hadjar, our two championship protagonists. That was for P10 and P11 on lap 2. There was a virtual safety car out. Initially, I thought it was because of visibility, because visibility was awful. But it was actually out because they were clearing the debris of Bearman's front wing. We get back racing. Correa has a spin. This brings out the safety car. And then not long after that, it's a full red flag because visibility was dreadful. You couldn't see anything. So under the red flag, Ollie Bearman gets a new front wing because you are allowed to fix damage, change tyres under red flags if that's what you want to do. So new front wing for Bearman. We have another rolling start and another good getaway from Kimi Antonelli. Maini and Bortoleto are at it again. This is my favourite rivalry of the year, not just in F2, but I think possibly across all the formulas. Maini and Bortoleto, the two Invicta drivers, who there really is no love lost here. It seems like basically at least once over the last 3 weekends, these two have gone at it, and every time it's been fantastic. Meanwhile, Martins has passed Hauger and Colapinto, moving up to P6. There's a drive-through penalty for Amri Cordial for speeding in the pit lane. And then Marty and Aaron are out, and this brings out the safety car. Huge implications for the championship here, as Aaron is out. It's a weekend now that Hadjar needs to take advantage of, but he can't because he's also out. He was beached in the gravel. So at first I thought maybe all these 3 guys being out on the same lap were all connected, but it turns out only 2 of them were. So Marty went right into the back of Paul Aaron. Now Aaron was going slowly. Initially I thought that maybe there was something wrong with Aaron's car, but I think he'd just been overtaken and was pushed a little bit wide, so went off the gas a little bit. And then because of the visibility, which we've said so many times is so bad, the spray coming off the back of the car, I don't think Marty truly realised how slow he was going and just went right into the back of him, both Marty and Aaron out. Further around the grid, Hadjar just went off into the gravel, it seems. I don't think he was hit by anyone. So, yeah, he was just out of the race. Understandably, very upset with himself, especially knowing Isaac Hadjar, who is known to be very angry all the time. But I think he'd be even more upset if he was to know that his championship rival was also out, and this was an opportunity for him to get some good points in this sprint race. Anyway, the safety car ends on lap 13, and Antonelli on his third restart now, and once again gets away really well. The thing about Antonelli in this race is every time he has to do a restart or through the race, he builds fantastic gaps. He managed the race amazingly, all the way through. He would build a massive gap, there would be a safety car. He would build a massive gap, safety car, red flag, whatever it is. He builds another massive gap. He just consistently really is the fastest driver on the track across this entire race. Meanwhile, his teammate, Ollie Bearman, he passes Dennis Hauger for P8. That's on lap 13. Ollie Bearman with the new front wing looking like he had a bit more pace now. Meanwhile, Miney and Bortoleto battle once more for P3. These two, it's just elbows out all the time with these two, and I love it. Ollie Bearman, though, as much as I said he was doing well, he then had a massive off at Copse Corner and drops down to 18th place on lap 14. Victor Martins has joined the Miney-Bortoleto battle now. They've been fighting so much. O'Sullivan goes around the outside of Colapinto for P7. Ollie Bearman is making moves again, now up to P16 on lap 15. We have Miata versus Dirksen versus Stanek for P10. That was very fun. O'Sullivan hits Victor Martins, which brings out a safety car. Martins is out of the race. Awful for ART. And then Ollie Bearman, who has had one of the most mixed races I've ever seen, has another engine failure. So we had one in the feature race in Austria. The very next race, the sprint race in Silverstone, he has another one. So he was 15th at this point. So Ollie Bearman, who had a very good start, then got hit and had the broken wing, fell back, fixes the broken wing in the red flag, gets away well again, making some moves, going up the grid, has the massive off, starts making his recovery, coming back, making good moves again, then the engine failure. So Ollie Bearman, yes, really 50-50 throughout this entire race. Either it was going very well or going very badly, and it ends very badly for him. Meanwhile, at ART, as I said, Victor Martins is out, but O'Sullivan pulls into the pits, and he is out as well. So both ART cars out due to an incident with each other. So probably not a great debrief for them. Dirksen has a huge spin, falls down the order. Oh my god, my throat is dying today, everybody. The virtual safety car is over at this point. Stanek is up to P8 after passing Miata. Stanek, by the way, who started last, is up to P8. Fantastic stuff from him. There's a fantastic battle as well between Colapinto and Crawford for P5. Bortoleto is all over the back of Miney for P3 on the last lap. Miney blocking him at every single corner. We get Bortoleto thinking of going up the inside of left field corner, but it doesn't work. Miney has no grip, but he is defending for his life against Bortoleto. And as they cross the finish line, Miney pushes Bortoleto off the track, and they both go over the line. Bortoleto finishes ahead of Miney on the track, but later gets a penalty to put Miney back up to P3. I love these Invictors fighting each other. They probably want to kill each other, but it's great to watch. So we have, though, as we cross the line, Kimi Antonelli wins his first ever Formula 2 race. A fantastically managed race throughout the whole thing for him, just creating huge gaps from everyone in a league of his own in the sprint race. Zane Maloney, P2. Great stuff for Zane Maloney. At one point, he was the championship leader. He hasn't then had a top 5 finish since the Imola sprint race. So a great result for him today. Bortoleto, as I said, was P3, but gets pushed down to P4. Miney is on P3. Colapinto in 5th. Crawford 6th. Hauger 7th. Stanek 8th. Barnard 9th, and I think it was Miata in P10. Let's go across now to the F2 feature. And it is Isaac Hadjar. He's currently second in the championship, but he is on pole position for the race. Victor Martins alongside him. Championship leader Paul Aaron is down in 12th place, whilst third place in the championship, Gabriel Bortoleto, is in 6th. Bortoleto, though, he spins on the formation lap. He's able to keep his position. He's able to keep on going, but would have really quite damaged his tyres at that point. And as we start the race, Isaac Hadjar has a awful start. Victor Martins up to P1, but the guy who has the best start is Ollie Bearman from 5th to 2nd within a first couple corners, and then is all over the back of Victor Martins for the race lead. The old Martins-Bearman rivalry is back at it again. We don't know if we'll ever see this one again. We know that Ollie Bearman, of course, he's announced he's going to Haas. We don't know if Victor Martins will be going to F1 at this point. This might be the last year of seeing these two battle for it. You know, the two guys who were battling for the F3 Championship a couple of years ago, the two guys who were battling for the Rookie of the Year last year. Who knows? This might be the last time we see them going wheel to wheel on a track ever again, which is quite sad in a way. But I'm sure we'll get over it. There is a safety car out, though, because yesterday's winner, Kimi Antonelli, has spun. He was hit by Kush Miney, spun out, stalled the car, and the winner is out on lap 1. Safety car ends on lap 3, and it was okay restart for Victor Martins, but Bearman was all over the back of him. Further back, there's a huge spin for Dirksen, who is out, stuck in the gravel. This brings out the safety car. It's later revealed it was actually Paul Aron, championship leader, who actually hit Dirksen, didn't really give him enough space, and that caused Dirksen to be out. Aron also has a puncture, so has to pit himself. Miney also into the pits. So it's all going on for Paul Aron in this very bad weekend for him. Meanwhile, safety car ends on lap 7, and it's a much better getaway for Victor Martins this time, as now Ollie Bearman is under pressure from Isaac Hadjar. Meanwhile, Vasseur and Fittipaldi both pit at this time. Martins now has over a second lead from Bearman, as Hadjar is able to get past him for P2, and immediately after passing him, both of them go right into the pits. So Bearman right behind Isaac Hadjar. It's a slow start for Bearman. Overall, I didn't think he lost that much time, but as soon as they get on the track, it's clear that they do. And realistically, from there, Bearman just had no pace. The initial getaway was fantastic, from 5th to battling for P1 within the first few corners. Great stuff from there. But after lap 2, the second safety car restart, he just had no pace whatsoever. I don't know what happened there. Meanwhile, Martins, Crawford, Maloney and Bortoleto all pit. It's a slow stop for Martins and an unsafe release for Crawford. Hauger pits on lap 10, and Hadjar is now on the back of Victor Martins. There's a fantastic battle between them, but Martins is able to hold the position for now. There's a 10-second penalty for Paul Aron, the championship leader, for causing a collision. That collision we spoke about before. Barnard's able to get past Stanek for P4 on lap 15, and Aron is still making moves despite the penalty, despite the puncture, despite everything. He's up to P7, passing Miata on lap 15. Bortoleto gets past Fittipaldi on lap 16, a fantastic move for him. Then another fantastic move from the outside of Luffield on Stanek for P7. Then there's just great battles everywhere. That's the thing about Silverstone, is there's so many corners that you can attack on, and it's equally able to defend, and sometimes you try and go around the outside, so you have the inside of the next corner. It's fantastic stuff. There's a great battle between Hadjar and Martins again, both of them forcing each other off the track at different points. In the end, though, as they go into turn 1, it's Martins he's on the outside, takes a bit too much speed in, and has to go off. But the safe rejoining point isn't until another 3-4 corners down the track. So he's off the track for ages, loses the position to Hadjar, loses about 2 or 3 positions at this point. And because of their battle, they have allowed Crawford to really get up in there as well. So Hadjar is able to get past Martins, but Crawford gets past Hadjar. Now Crawford has the net lead of this race, but then he's hit with a penalty, 5-second penalty for Crawford for that unsafe release in the pit stop before. Martins has fallen down the order massively here after going off track. Barnard and Miata pit on lap 22. Colapinto pits from the lead on the alternative strategy on lap 23, as does Correa, Marty, O'Sullivan, Stanek, and Miney. Cordial Pace on lap 24. There's a 5-second penalty for Kushmani on track limits. Correa also has a puncture at this time, falling out of the points. Bortoleto passes Bearman for P8 on lap 25. Colapinto passes Martins for P6 on lap 25. And Colapinto, on that alternative strategy, now starts to try and make his way through the rest of the grid to try and get to the lead. But realistically, I think he maybe let it a little bit too late to make... Well, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think maybe, realistically, he pit too early to go on to the softs because he didn't have the pace at the end. He had this pace here was very good, but towards the end, the soft tyres fell off and he wasn't really competitive. Marty gets a great move on Hauger for P10, but the lap later, Hauger gets the place back. Crawford would cross the line first, but due to that 5-second penalty, falls down to P3. The winner and new championship leader is Isaac Hadjar, winning the feature race. Zane Maloney, double podium weekend for him after a few bad results, so fantastic for Zane Maloney. As I said, Crawford in P3 after that unsafe release. Colapinto is in P4 after the not unsafe release. Colapinto, alternative strategy. He's the leader of the alternative strategy on P4. Victor Martins is 5th. Bortoleto in 6th. Bearman 7th. Fittipaldi in 8th. Hauger in 9th. Paul Aaron finishes in 12th. So not only a pointless weekend for Paul Aaron here, not only has he lost the championship lead, but this is his first race weekend without a podium of the year. The incredibly consistent Paul Aaron has fallen down in Silverstone, looking to be picking that up again next time we go out. But there you go, that is Formula 2 for this weekend. Like I said, good battles here and there, but I don't think they reached the incredibly high heights of the Formula 3 race, but still, very good stuff. Our hero of Formula 2, it's either Hadjar or Maloney. I'm going to give it to Hadjar, I think. We'll give it to Isaac Hadjar, new championship leader, doing incredibly well. There you go. That is Formula 2. We'll be back for all things Formula 1 later on today. Make sure you subscribe for that. I'll see you then. Till then, though, have a good one. Goodbye.